We did it, guys. 10,000 subscribers. That is fucking insane. And I'm just blown away that I've reached this milestone this soon, you know what I mean? I don't even know what to say except thank you guys. Without your continued love and support, I would not have gone this far. And I don't even know if I would still be making videos today. So really, like, you really do have my deepest gratitude. And yeah, cheers, guys. And I know that 10,000 subscribers isn't the biggest number in the world, and of course there's a long way to go, but hey, this is still a really good milestone because it just shows it shows me that there are a lot of people out there who resonate with my message, and it shows me the potential of this channel. You get me? And there is still, there's a lot of work to do, and I'm still a noob and an amateur at this YouTube stuff, but I'm still growing, I'm still learning. And yeah, it will be very, very interesting to see what comes up in the future. So to celebrate this milestone, I'm going to do something very, truly unique and original, something that's never been done before. A Q&A. I know, I'm a fucking genius, I know. So I'm just going to answer just a couple questions at the start, which is going to be very trivial, but it's only because I've been asked this a million times before. But don't worry about me answering like, what's my favorite color or what brand underwear do I wear? Like, don't worry, it's not going to be none of that bullshit. So I'm just going to choose a couple questions, like I said, that I do get asked just a lot, and it is going to be very trivial, but I'll keep it short and sweet, and then I'll move on to some of the questions which I personally find interesting. So, see how this thing goes. In terms of my age and what I do for a living, and like, do I live with my parents? I am 24. I work as a sales rep for a telco company. And yes, I still do live with my mother. I know. So, sweet! Now that we've got those questions out of the way, let's actually go to some interesting questions. What's your favorite psychedelic and why? Now, I know this isn't the most original, interesting question in the world, but this is something that you guys have been asking me for a long time. So, there isn't even like a straight answer for this, because like favorite there's no like, I don't have a favorite psychedelic per se. I've had certain substances that have been more beneficial for me on a healing level. And I think in that sense, ayahuasca would have to be number one. Actually, pretty close with San Pedro, so probably those two would be the number one. Only because they were the ones where I got that first breakthrough. You get me? Ayahuasca was that first medicine which helped me release a lot of fucking demons that I've been clinging on to my whole life. And it really helped me have a direct experience with the nature of reality in terms of duality and the oneness of the universe and all those kind of things. Now, in terms of which psychedelic I find the most interesting and the one I'm most obsessed with, it would definitely have to be mushrooms, because number one, they're the oldest entheogen known to man, at least as far as our awareness goes, because with mushrooms, it's not like other psychedelics like ayahuasca, San Pedro, and whatever. You need to have some form of alchemy, right? You need to get pots and pans or mix ingredients together and do all these kind of things. Whereas mushrooms, it just grows from the ground. So it's really interesting how, I don't know, how prehistoric they actually are. And you look at like all the ancient cave paintings from all around the world, and there's just evidence everywhere. And it's really interesting as well that psilocin, which is the molecule that makes you trip, is like one fracture away from being DMT. Because DMT is N-dimethyltryptamine, psilocin is 4-hydroxydimethyltryptamine. So it's super, super, super similar, which is why there's so many similarities between like ayahuasca and mushrooms, at least in my opinion. And I also am so fascinated that this fungi grows in every single continent in the world except for Antarctica. So, and on top of this, they usually grow where it's like close to civilization, where there's humans, and it's almost like nature's kind of nudging us towards the direction of eating mushrooms. And mushrooms was also the first psychedelic I ever had, which really opened me up and made the first significant change, you get me? And also, that being said, I have not tried every single psychedelic. There's still others which I haven't tried, like 5-MeO-DMT, peyote, iboga, which I will try, well, at least peyote and 5-MeO-DMT when I go back to the jungle early next year, so it should be interesting. Iboga, I really do want to try it, but I don't think it's my time quite yet. But yeah, I've heard nothing but amazing things, especially for breaking addictive habit. Tom, did the ayahuasca trip completely change your personality and turn you into a different person? Yes. I think that ayahuasca was by far the biggest change, and my whole family and friends will tell you that I'm like a completely different person after that trip. And it's weird because it's not that ayahuasca necessarily changed who I am. It was more, it made me realize who I was all along, and it put away all these masks and facades that I've been putting on. You get me? But yeah, I think that ayahuasca definitely did change my personality. I'm like a lot more open, a lot more positive, a lot more outgoing, and just have like less anxiety and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it really did have that huge shift. And ask any of my friends and family, I was a completely different person before going to Peru. Like, for real, I was like I was a fucking psychopath. I was angry all the time. I never smiled, and yeah, not the best. But hey, life's a journey, and I'm actually grateful to have all those experiences anyway, because I can share some insights and help others. So, in the end of the day, it's all good, isn't it? Have you tried MDMA, and what's your opinion on it used as a psychedelic to help with therapy and spiritual things? Spiritual things? Okay. Anyways, yes, of course I've tried MDMA, and yes, it did quite drastically change my life in terms of helping me be more open-minded to life, right? I'm not going to go into my MDMA experiences on this video, because I think that deserves a video in and of itself, and which will come. I know I've been getting a lot of requests for it, so relax guys, it's coming, don't worry. Because I don't want to promise when I'm going to do it, but I can definitely see it within this near future, like within a month, I would say. But yeah, in terms of MDMA being used for like therapeutic applications, fucking oath, man, I'm so for this idea, and especially because MDMA is so particularly good at de-armoring us, right? Bringing down the walls, but without having too much of an ego-obliterating experience and getting thrown in the abyss of our own psyche, like the classic psychedelic, such as psilocybin mushrooms or ayahuasca has. So this is really good for people who, I don't know, who want to have like a psychedelic experience, but not too intense, you know, just to at least ease themselves into it. So yeah, man, I'm definitely for it in terms of like medicinal and therapeutic uses. And there've been a lot of groundbreaking research from organizations such as MAPS, right, coming out with these studies that MDMA treating war veterans with PTSD, and the results are just absolutely phenomenal. Like, for real. It's just absolutely incredible how effective MDMA can be to go to the root cause of your trauma, and then kind of rewiring your brain and giving you a whole new perspective on it, and then able to let it go and open yourself up, right? So yeah, I'm definitely pro MDMA, and I've heard so many great things, not just for war veterans with PTSD, but for people who have anxiety and depression and stuff like that. But that being said, time to polarize and say that MDMA is not it's not very beneficial if you use it recreationally frequently. Okay, I'm not saying taking MDMA recreationally is the worst thing in the world, because it's not. Every single one of my experiences with MDMA have all been recreational, but I've still benefited from them. Well, at least from my first time, because I feel like if you do it all the time, let's say in a clubbing scene, I just don't see you growing that much from it versus you taking MDMA and actually working on yourself. You know, I've heard it's really good for couple therapy and stuff like that. And the thing about MDMA as well is that when you take it, it takes your brain 1 whole month for it to recuperate all the serotonin that's been lost, right? Because it's got to balance out. Like, once you have this huge surge of serotonin, the next day, usually you're gonna feel pretty low. But yeah, like I said, like MDMA can be a very profound therapeutic tool, but if abused, like any great tool, it can be very damaging. So yeah, if you were anxious, depressed, and closed off, was this before you tried psychedelics like mushrooms? Did you notice a major change in these areas after consuming psilocybin. Do you think you'd be where you are today without taking psychedelics, barring marijuana, a very mild psychedelic? Alright, the thing... I don't think I would be where I am today without psychedelics. Well, number one, my channel is mainly about psychedelics, so no. But, that being said, who knows, like maybe I would have eventually gone the same path without psychedelics, but they were the catalyst for me, which like gave me the slap to the face and made me open my eyes. They really helped me like question everything. It helped me appreciate life for what it is, and it disconnected me with all the things in life that don't matter. Like I was so obsessed with like TV and video games and technology, and I was so cut off from nature and stuff like that, and mushrooms was that first catalyst which kind of made me open my eyes and made me look at nature and like, wow, life is fucking beautiful. We live in this incredible earth, and so many of us are obsessed with like exploring different planets, and like we have everything right here. You get me? And it helped me become more empathic and made me give a shit a bit more. You get? So yeah, it definitely did give me that major shift in my life. And even though before I just said that ayahuasca has been the most healing plant and the one that's changed me the most, but without mushrooms, I would have never gone down that path. I very doubt it, because that was the first catalyst, for sure, of this so quote-unquote spiritual awakening. So Tom, would you say that you've totally recovered from this I don't care, I don't give a fuck kind of socially anxious state? And can you name a period of time that it's been cured, quote-unquote cured, and may differ from person to person? This sentence was written a bit weirdly, but I think I get the gist of it. I haven't quote-unquote been cured from social anxiety. Like, listen, for the most part, I don't feel anxious talking to another human being, whether it's in a social context or whatnot. But there are some things that I would still get anxious of, but I've just raised the bar, you get me? For example, let's say me vlogging in the middle of the city, right? Where it's full of people. Yes, that would make me anxious as shit. But there is going to be a time where I'm going to have to do it for that exact reason, because it scares the shit out of me. And I have been stalling, and I do want to do this, but yeah, it's just something that I'm going to get around to, but it just scares the fucking shit out of me. And there are just different levels of what's going to scare me. Let's say public speaking in front of 1,000 people. That scares the shit out of me. Whereas before, talking to one person scared the shit out of me. Whereas now that doesn't bother me at all, especially because I've worked in sales and I've just desensitized that social anxiety of just going up to someone and talking to them. Same with a party. Like, I don't feel anxious anymore. So in that regard, in a normal context, no, I don't have social anxiety. But there are still some things on a higher level that is going to make me socially anxious. And the only way to get over it is to do the thing that makes you socially anxious. And it fucking sucks, but hey man, nature rewards courage, like Terence McKenna used to say. Hey Tom, I'd like to know if you meditate on a regular basis and how you feel about meditation in general. Really enjoying your videos, keep it up man. Yes, I do regularly meditate, especially in the morning. It's not like I'm not one of those people who meditate for like, half an hour, 1 hour at a time. I'll do like 5 minutes, sometimes more, sometimes less. And the whole point is just to start, because all you have to do is just start with like 2 minutes, even 2 minutes, and that will naturally progress into 5 minutes, into 8 minutes, into 10 minutes, into 15 minutes, into 20 minutes. I used to find it a real chore to meditate, but now I genuinely enjoy it, because it just helps kind of defragment my mind and just, remove all the junk files and gives me peace and quiet. And I guess my general opinion of meditation is that I think that every single one of us should be doing it, and it sounds very egotistical, like everyone should meditate because I do it. And with meditation, I'm not talking about sitting in a dark cave with crystals and fucking chanting Om and all that kind of stuff. Meditation is just being present in the moment. Your form of meditation can be completely different. It could be painting, right? It could be playing music. It could be taking a nature walk. just anything that is going to keep you in a present moment and a state of just being, right? And do I think this is something that everybody should do? Yes. I think that it's very important to be present and be appreciative of what you have and be appreciative of the moment right now, you know, because so many of us are either living in the past or the present, and this is what creates so many types of mental illnesses. Like, you know, living too much in the future is what creates anxiety, right? Because you're always anticipating what's next, yeah, right? And then if you live too much in the past, you start to get depressed because you start dwelling on things that have happened. You start dwelling on things that you physically cannot change, right? And when you compare your current reality to a fantasy, we get depressed. So it's always good to meet in the middle and just be present, right? And just be aware of what is. So yeah, I really do think meditation is extremely important. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be sitting down with your eyes closed, okay? It's just about being present. Cool, so I'm just going to go last question. It's a bit of a long one, but I thought it was really interesting. Tom, I have an interesting question for you. If you took psychedelics and managed to gain the insight you have now, but there was no conclusive evidence to support they were good or that they weren't healthy, do you think you'd be the same spokesperson you are? Or do you think studies and other people's experiences have gone hand in hand with your own experience to ultimately create something concrete? See, because I imagine if there were no studies, no like-minded people who get it, it would be an even bigger barrier to climb to speak out. Hoffman springs to mind, maybe even Leary. These were people who spoke highly of it, irrelevant to the conclusive knowledge we have on it now, which only further proves their first assumptions. But try to picture a world where it never got concluded ideally, or one where studies concluded it was actually bad for the body and mind. But you were alone in the mindset it wasn't. How would you respond, Tom? No doubt you have ran this through your mind before, eh? Love your vids. Peace. Yeah, this is a really, really interesting question. I have thought about this before. And I don't know if I would be like the same spokesperson, because I do speak a lot about the science. Listen, by nature, I go by my experiences anyway, right? So if I was to have this psychedelic experience and it completely changed my life for the better, and it helped me deal with all the mental illnesses that I used to have, and, you know, and all these other people, because there's so many testimonials of people claiming that psychedelics have helped them with their personal growth and it's been super therapeutic. There are a lot of people who even say that one night with ayahuasca is equivalent to like 10 years in therapy. So I definitely would still speak out, for sure, because like I said, I go by experience, and all you have to do is actually try these substances and you would know from empirical evidence that they work and they connect you with something so much bigger than what you thought life ever was. You know, having a psychedelic experience is like walking outside for the first time. It's like this whole new world that you had no idea that was out there. But that being said, I'm also very rational and scientifically minded. So having all these scientific studies really... my rational brain really likes science, okay? Because it's nice to have objective evidence. And science is also a language that a lot of people speak. And this is why I like talking about science, because not everybody is going to listen to testimonials. It's great that we have science on psychedelic side, and I think that really helps. And to answer this question, I don't think I'll be the same spokesperson I am now, but nonetheless, I still would be speaking about it, just not with as much confidence, as you will. So guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any more questions or any requests for future topics that you want me to cover, feel free, comment below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And there's such a long list of topics which I want to speak about, but like life has just been fucking chaotic lately. So I haven't been as active on this channel, but nonetheless, I do my best to at least release one video a week, right? Because that's my promise to you guys. So guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching this far, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and give this video a like and share it with a friend if you want. That really does help us out. And just for those who've been supporting me on Patreon, thank you so much. You guys are fucking legends, and I'm touched to know that people are actually willing to pledge to me and support my cause, you know what I mean? Or our cause, really. And this really does encourage me to upload more frequently. And yeah, cheers guys. If you want to get behind me on Patreon and want to know what it's all about, I'll leave a link in the description box below. Feel free to check it out. I'd much appreciate it. But that's it. Have an awesome day, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.